today. We'll look at that a little bit. Look what another midweek game looks like for Nebraska, as we'll be down in Manhattan taking on K-State. Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. We'll talk to him. There is a spring game this weekend. We'll get into it. Visitors, the list, what it looks like. And then stories that we missed. Boy, there's a big one. Now speculation on one of the stories we have. Speculation in the golf world is now running rampant. So we'll talk a lot about that as I'm continuing to drink tea and get better. I feel better. I feel a lot better. Dude, I didn't sleep great last night. I didn't realize, like, when you lose your voice or you go down like that, like the stuff that comes with it. I was coughing a lot last night. I didn't feel great, but I feel amazing. I know the voice probably doesn't sound, it probably sounds about as bad.
Coffee doing it for you, though? Helping
It's
out?
not coffee, it's still tea. So this is great.
Okay.
So this is great. Morning, Flood X10. Good morning, Todd. I go to the same coffee shop. You can see it. It's right by the house. I hit a Starbucks most mornings. And I've gotten to know the girls in there. They've gotten to know my order because it typically doesn't change. Does not change. So you're drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk in and I mobile order and I walk in and say hi to everybody. I'm not going to dog you if you are. When I mobile order things, I walk in to get them.
Yeah.
I don't go through the drive-through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does that come from your experience as a restaurant?
It does. Yeah. It does. Just because I don't know. I don't want to have takes on it. Because I get it. There's sometimes it's snowing and it's cold. I will still walk inside. Right? Because there are now apps that you can select drive-through or walk in.
Well,
I hit walk in every time.
The drive-through, I feel like walking in nowadays to places is almost faster because so many people are going through the drive-through.
Well, they treat drive-through and mobile the same way. I don't want to say we treat drive-through. We do. We treat drive-through and dine-in different. Because if you're dining in, you're sitting there and you're not as worried about time. Right? It's more of an experience. You're in the drive-through, you're on the move. You want your food in a certain amount of time. Right? It's like mobile ordering. I want to walk in. I don't want to spend a lot of time in there. Just want to say hi. So I walk in this morning, say hi. Hi, Bill. And they start pouring that. And I can't get it out quick enough. And then I got my tea as well.
Like what's you're looking at this like, what's that?
Yeah, I'm like, So like right now, like the whole coffee thing, I think it's the dairy, the cream, because that's got sweet cream in it. And it's causing more stuff to come around. So I'm like, no, I didn't have a cup of coffee in the last 2 days. So I think I'm on the mend.
So this feels like a special treat with my usual gas station coffee on the daily.
Isn't that great though?
It's good. It's a little
nitro cold brew with sweet cream, extra sweet cream. There's a little message on the side for you.
Call me a cool cat.
Yeah, you're a cool cat. Mine says tea time, which is what I'll have tomorrow, 12:10. Hey, I want to start with this. I want to ask this. I want to start with this as we're going to talk a ton of Husker hoops. Nebraska, Iowa, Sweet 16. Big one. As you know, that we've never been there. Iowa, since 99, I believe? The last time they were in the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
You got the matchup. You got a 1-1 against each other. Coaching is going to be big in this one. Schematics are going to be big, right? But that's not the question. The question about here is, I know beating Iowa puts you in the Elite Eight, which the journey continues. But what does beating Iowa really mean to you or to fans in this right now? I had this question in a group yesterday. Would this erase all the heartache of Nebraska, Iowa? At what level beating them on Thursday night would erase everybody saying Iowa has owned you in almost all sports? Would that one victory, putting them and making them miserable, knowing that Nebraska, their first trip to the Sweet 16, denied you the opportunity, and their journey continues in the first win ever, the first ever of what we've done? Does it erase anything? Because I can still see field goals being kicked in our stadium and being kissed at.
Yeah. A loss to Iowa to end your dream season
And that's the flip side. What is the loss?
On the flip side would be an ultimate stain on the dream season that you've had. What does a win over Iowa mean? It means that you didn't let them ruin your season, in my eyes.
Yeah, like it's. I agree with what you're saying, because it's like it will hurt worse. It will, like, it'll feel good. It will just hurt worse.
What does a win mean? Oh, a win putting you one win away from a Final Four in your first season ever winning NCAA tournament games. I mean, a win putting you in the Elite Eight, that puts you into rare air of college basketball. There are plenty of college basketball programs out there that have never even made an Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
It puts you into rare air. It gives you an ultimate boost to your program in terms of recruiting, NIL money, all the important things in terms of roster construction for Fred would be so much easier if you make an Elite Eight. But the main thing is it's a win means that you didn't let Iowa ruin your dream season.
Yes. Like a loss, it feels like they could come into Memorial Stadium and just plant a flag. You continue to get owned. Like you would go, whatever your record is right now, 28 and what are we? 28 and I don't even know. It felt like we were 0-20, 0-35.
Listen, a loss. If it was Florida, a loss against Florida in the Sweet 16, you would have said okay.
You were supposed to happen, because right now you're favored in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The favorite means you're supposed to win.
You did drop down. I saw now down to 1.5 points.
Sure. Because I think a lot of Nebraska money came in early. Right? And then it got low, but wait a minute. Sharps. I still don't think it's done moving.
No, I don't think so either.
It ain't done moving. As Marco would say, just maybe wait a little bit. Don't get too fat and sassy. Just wait. Be patient. Sharp money will come in. I just had that thought this morning, like, what would this do? But one, I know another thing it would do is say, hey, Creighton, we did it in the first time we ever got there. Tied you. We have a chance to surpass you.
I will say the matchups with Illinois and Houston on the other side, if it is an Elite Eight, kind of scary.
Yeah.
But I don't want to look that far ahead. You've beaten that Illinois team before. I think you could beat the Houston team. Nebraska, it's cliche, coach speak to say. I don't think it's about Nebraska's opponents at this point in time. It's about Nebraska. Nebraska did not win that game on Saturday because Vandy didn't play great or yada, yada, yada. They won that game because they played that brand of basketball that we saw back in December and January. Can you continue that brand of basketball into a second weekend? If they can, this Husker team is absolutely good enough to beat Iowa again.
I just like, man,
they're absolutely good enough to give it a hell of a battle in the Elite Eight, and you see where the chips fall.
I don't think anything's past this team right now of them doing anything. I think it would be, and again, I'm not looking ahead. Obviously, this is going to be a tough one coming up. Don't get it wrong. This will be a tough matchup. Okay? If it were Nebraska, Illinois, the domination of your crowd gets bigger in that setting. But this, I'm also seeing, and we'll talk to Robin about the ticket pace right now. Sounds like Nebraska fans are out there rolling deep, as we would say back in the day. We're rolling deep to Houston right now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, about what else is going on out there. So, Husker fans, if you're traveling and you're out and about trying to get there on Thursday, and you get into downtown, because there's a big day on Thursday for another sport, opening day.
Oh, for the Astros.
Their opening day at 3:10.
I was told the best thing you can do is to go park, I believe they said by the football stadium, and get on one of the trains that'll take you down right outside.
Or if you're at a hotel somehow, I think you can get there probably and get valeted or get parking.
I just heard the downtown Houston's traffic flow puts Lincoln, makes Lincoln look like it's the best traffic flow in the world.
I'm wondering, I get in a little after 3. I'm wondering if it'll be settled, because the game will be starting like, when I get into town, it'll already be started.
Because the game
3:10.
The 3. So okay.
So maybe it's settled. What got me excited knowing that it was opening day. First of all, for opening day, because for a lot of people that's a national holiday as well.
Yeah.
They play at 7:15 the next night when the Huskers have already won. Might be another major sport that we get to go see.
Well, I've told you before.
It might be Husker night at the Stros.
A friend of mine, Nick, every single opening day, and I'm not going to be able to make it this year because Husker basketball, this is not, I'd rather be covering Husker basketball, but he does his opening day celebration at his house.
Oh, this is the challenge. This is the
Yeah,
is this the wall, the dogs and
where
brews.
he gets the kegs and just packages upon packages of hot dogs, and we try to set records.
Sorry, bruh. Numbers will be down this year. Elijah won't be there.
Yeah, I put in a.
Are you going to stop him?
I put in a good battle on the hot dogs last year. I know they do go late into the night.
What time do they start?
Like 1 p.m.
Just go peek in. Well, you got to show. You got to do. You got to do 4 to 6, and then you're rolling right into game time.
Yeah, I'm doing news as well.
What is going on?
It's gonna be tough. So they start up like 1 o'clock, and then they'll roll till 1 in the morning.
You can go get a couple dogs. Just contribute to the dogs before the show,
or after.
Yeah, but boy, you're gonna be fired.
Yeah. You know, you don't want.
You are gonna be fired up. In that game, when the Huskers tip at 6:30. First of all, where are you gonna be? You're gonna be at home. You're gonna be at a location.
I haven't decided yet. I'm not sure if I can handle being in a space with lots of people, or if I need to be locked in a dark room with just my TV.
All right, dude. I'm telling you what now. If I were in town, I would have installed a lock on my basement door and been left alone.
That's kind of how I'm feeling.
And yelling "Mom" at Meatloaf
but then
downstairs.
Part of me is also thinking of how electric would it be if you're in a spot with a whole bunch of Husker fans.
Yeah, that's true. But get there early. Hey,
yeah,
you're like somebody. You got to call somebody like, hey,
yeah,
can you hook me up? I just need to save me a spot.
Yeah,
because everybody in this town, like this will be again crazy enough. I think in this town it'll be another night of just electricity. It's gonna be electric. Go out if you're in town. Go get to your local establishment. Support whatever your favorite one is. You know, and have a good time. Be safe. Speaking of covering Husker basketball, let's take our first break. And when we come back, we'll have the man, Robin Washington with HuskerOnline.com. It was like a gnat like flying around.
Yeah, I was seeing him.
Jeez. Somebody leave some food in here? Or a leftover drink?
See, the trash can should have gotten all emptied last night. I saw it happen.
Yeah, that tea is good. I might have to switch to tea. It is amazing. I feel like I have a little cold too, probably though, mixing into this because I was not good last night. I was great. It was fine.
Could be allergies. Allergies combined with.
I tell you what. Also, it did not help that I was out at Sandhills at practice from 6:30 to 8:30 last night in the cold wind, cold weather.
That will do it too.
It was unhelpful. Good morning, Arlo. Thanks for being in, my man. Let's see. There you are. Let's get that going. Because this is a one ticket first session to get both games. There's like you're reaching out. There's like Huskers, like the teams are reaching out to get fans. Houston fans, especially. Hey, Houston, I need you to be Husker fans. You're in red. Come hang out with us. Because you can't ask Illinois to do that. Like, hey, Husker fans, Houston, same color. Let's go. Nobody's going to help Iowa out. Yeah. Do boo 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 boo.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back in the Morning Hookup. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. For our guy from HouseOnline.com, Robin Washington. Washington, what's up, my guy?
What happened?
I don't know. I'm nursing this voice back together still.
You sound good. Compared to where things were on Saturday, you're doing all right.
Woo! Well, when we're setting decibel records out there.
And you had a big part in that, I'm sure.
Oh, boy. There's a picture out there. That's fine.
Well, front row hook.
Yeah. It pays to know good people. That's in a good company of great people. We got Robin Washington, HouseOnline.com, fresh back from OKC. Watch it just like I'm trying to think where to start and what the weekend meant. I mean, from your perspective as covering the team, I know that I saw, stuff from you like I'm still numb. I can't fathom what is happening type stuff. But like, go through your journey through this as well, and because it meant a lot to a lot of people. You've covered it for a long time, and you can go down as far as KP. I know at top of the list, or Pat Norris on that bench over there with doing the equipment and stuff. But talk about that a little bit as you were down in OKC for a rambunctious 4 days.
Yeah, I'm a lot like everybody else, where kind of one of those things that you never thought it would actually happen until it finally happened. Even halfway through the game, Nebraska kind of was starting to take control, but you were like kind of holding your breath because is the other shoe going to drop, and are we going to have that same kind of heartache that has happened so many times over the years and be left once again without a tournament win? But they finished the job, and the way that they did it in such commanding fashion, I thought was a kind of a perfect way to do it, in the sense that entire second half was just kind of a big celebration and like a collective exhale from everyone involved with Nebraska basketball, from the head coach down to the fans in the stands and watching on TV and all that stuff. So it was I think a great way to kind of finally like ceremoniously lift that monkey off of everyone's collective backs, and do it in a way that everybody kind of got to sit back and soak it in and enjoy it. And I kind of look back on some of the dark days of my career covering Nebraska basketball, where there's 4,000 people in the Vandy Center, and Iowa State's winning by 30, and Cyclone fans like all move down to the lower bowl and start chanting like ISU, and then like in PBA losing 12 straight conference games, and going in the COVID season and on Christmas Day and watching Michigan throttle Nebraska in an empty PBA. Like there was some like real points where you're like, this sucks. Like this is not an enjoyable beat right now. And all that was rewarded this weekend, not just the first win. Obviously that was the big one, but then to do it again, and the drama of that Vanderbilt game, and came down to literally the final second, and kind of embodied everything this team has been about all season. Like there couldn't have been a much more poetic weekend for Nebraska basketball than it was in Oklahoma City.
Well, Robin, talk about that real quick, because you and I had about the same view of that shot going up, and we were watching it, and that collective silence. What was going through your mind? Because I know you could see the players a little bit, and you're like, oh no, look how online that is.
Mm-hmm. So you were a little further kind of behind Nebraska's bench. I was kind of a little closer to Vanderbilt's bench. Mm-hmm. And so my angle wasn't that great. I was like directly like aside, like looking at it. And so I didn't get to see the like head on trajectory of it. And so I'm like, oh yeah, he's going to miss this. But then like kept going and going and going. And then the rattle in and out of the rim, I'll never forget that. It was like, doo-doo-doo, and then it was just silence. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as everybody saw the ball pop out, it was just pure joy. Like that was kind of an unforgettable 3 seconds right there, where it went from the jubilation of Frager making the shot, the just suspense of the ball flying through the air, the immediate, I don't know what just happened for about a second, and then just sheer celebration from, just an unbelievable scene. So it was, like I said, it's kind of a perfect exclamation point to that whole weekend and everything that was accomplished down in Oklahoma City.
It's Robin Wash it with us here. And Robin, whenever you talk about everything that was accomplished, I think one of the big things optically that Husker fans has them encouraged going into Thursday night is the fact that Nebraska seems to have reclaimed that form they had back in December and January. They're playing confident basketball. Frager looks quick and explosive. Rink Mast is back to hitting some three-point shots. Like, just as a whole, I mean, Jamarcus for the most part looks confident. This team just has that feel of December and January about them again, at least in my eyes. What do you think about how they played this weekend, and what does that mean for them moving forward in the tournament?
Yeah, I agree. I think that they're you're getting guys getting back into form, and for me, it starts with how they're playing defensively. They just put Troy in hell for 40 minutes with the way that they were defending, and then they had their lapses against Vanderbilt, especially in the second half there for about the first 15 minutes, but the game changed through defense. Nebraska doesn't win that game without that switch to his own and, kind of just befuddling Vanderbilt in crunch time and then utilizing their play defensively to spark their offense. That's what got them to 20-0. They've always been a team that kind of their success is founded off defense and everything plays off of that. And they've gotten back to that model certainly over the last two games. And that's how you win this time of year. I mean, if you're not defending like that, you're not going to beat anybody. So, I think Nebraska has shown that, they're still the team that was, a borderline top 5 team in the country and are starting to play like it again. So that's, I guess the fact that after how bad the season ended, specifically the loss at UCLA, the Big Ten tournament loss to Purdue, like they look kind of like a shell of themselves. They look like a team that was kind of running on fumes, and you really had your questions about what the momentum was going to be going into March Madness. But to their credit, again, this is a team that resilience has been one of their best traits, and they found a way once again to regroup and find themselves again, and as I like to say, get back to being us. And we've definitely seen that. That's why they're still playing right now, and they got to do it again, maybe more than ever, against an Iowa team that knows them probably as well as any team in the country.
Again, we're speaking to Robin Wash with HuskerOnline.com. Well, Robin, let's talk about the coaching. I've always said when you get in the tournament, that coaching now it might be the most important. It's been all year long. You saw that a little bit in the second half of that Vandy game. You just mentioned it a little bit. They trust in Nate saying, hey, let's go 1-3-1. It's really mucked up that Vandy team. But talk about the now playing Iowa the third time, how important the coaching and executing a game plan is going to be in a third matchup with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be the ultimate coaching chess match because Fred is the coach of the year nationally, and Ben McCollum has proven that he's one of the best coaches in the country as well. Iowa is not playing right now without Ben McCollum. Like that, they clearly have one. They have a star in Bennett Sturts, but then just kind of a bunch of role guys, and yet they're in the Sweet 16. Like that to me is all system. It's all coaching, game management from Ben McCollum, and it's from my opinion, certainly not the prettiest basketball you're ever going to find, but it wins, and it's won every level he's been there. And this is going to be kind of the ultimate coach versus coach type of game here, because not only are they two very successful and talented coaches, but they know each other. Like Iowa knows everything there is to know about Nebraska. Nebraska knows everything there is to know about Iowa. And so like whichever coach is able to not only get their team prepared with the right game plan going in, but who makes the right adjustments at the right time, like Nebraska did at about that 5:34 mark against Vanderbilt, like that's probably going to define this game as much as anything. So I'm very intrigued to see how that coaching battle plays out on Thursday night, because these two have shown that they're two of the best out there right now.
As we kind of let off the show with Robin, first off, what does a win for Nebraska heading to the Elite Eight mean? But to flip it around, what would a loss mean against your rival in Iowa? Your magical season comes to an end against them whenever they're just 9 seed. Like, feels like there's a lot of stakes on this game, win or loss. Well, and there should be. It's a Sweet 16. That's kind of feels like an obvious question, but Iowa may kind of like ramps it up from an 8 to a 10.
Yeah, it changes the dynamic just because of the rivalry component. But And a win, obviously, just continues. It just takes things from, like you said, level 10 to level 20. If you're playing into the Elite Eight with a chance to go to the Final Four, like that's like beyond anyone's wildest dreams right now. And so like that to me, like regardless of what happens, like I know that losing to Iowa would be a really disappointing thing. Like, and it would, I'm sure in the moment, sour a lot of what this run has been, because not that they've just lost, but the fact that, you know, your most bitter rival was the one that ended your season. But I think if you allow yourself to kind of take a step back from that, there's really no outcome that I think can ruin or spoil what this season has been. Like, this has been the most remarkable season in the history of Nebraska basketball, and nothing that can happen from this point on can change that. It can only get better from Nebraska. And even if you do lose to Iowa, like, okay, yeah, that's disappointing. But I think, again, if you allow the dust to settle, it doesn't change what this season has meant to everyone involved with the program and around the program. And this will still go down as literally the biggest turning point this program has ever seen. And so, I guess it's kind of a micro macro discussion. In the micro, it would be a really tough pill to swallow for Iowa to be the one that puts an end to this thing. But a win, I mean, think about it. Not only are you going to the Elite Eight, you're ending your rival season. So the opportunity to give them that exact same feeling is just as much there for Nebraska as it is for Iowa. So, either way, I think when you look back on this season, you can't look back at it as anything more than, the greatest season in program history, even if somehow Iowa is the one to put an end to it.
And to zoom out, I like what you said, micro and macro. To go full macro here, the greatest season in Nebraska basketball history. What does that do for the program moving forward in your eyes? We talked yesterday about the NIL resources that will likely be coming Fred's way, just the national attention that will be coming from recruits across the country that see what Hoiberg was able to do with Sanford, what he was able to do with Keisei Tominaga, what he was able to do with McGowan's. Like, they're just is an elevated level of national stature that comes with the Sweet 16. So I want to get your thoughts on what it means for the future of the Nebraska basketball program this season as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, it just gives them more credibility. Like, the one thing Nebraska's never been able to sell is winning. Well, now they can sell winning. Like, it's not just about what the program can be, it's what the program is. And that makes a big difference. Like, especially when it's such an apples to apples game right now. And a lot of times the only difference is money. If you can say, well, we'll give you a competitive offer, but you're also playing with, the two-time national coach of the year who just led his team to the Sweet 16 and produced yet another, first team all Big Ten player and potential draft pick, and has got the table set to go do it all over again in a system that is, a direct line to the NBA. Like, I mean, what wouldn't you like about that? And, oh, by the way, you're playing with the greatest fan base in all of college basketball right now, like doing things that 30-year NCAA tournament veterans have never seen before in their entire careers. Like, I mean, Nebraska will have everything to sell. And the only thing that might still be a bit lacking is spending kind of reckless money that some of the other teams that, are kind of resetting the market with terrible offers. Nebraska's not going to do that. They're not going to play that game where they're just like writing checks to write checks. But I do think that with the success, people are going to be more willing to invest in the program, and you're going to have more resources at your disposal, because if there's one thing Nebraska will do, it's support winners. And, when you actually give them tangible return on that investment, you're going to have a much higher willingness of people there to support you. And I think that's already happening. And I think that Nebraska is going to go into this offseason with more to work with than they ever have as a program. And, you look at what the core they have coming back and what they're, going to be able to retain and additional resources to go supplement that. There's no reason why Nebraska can't keep this going and be back in the tournament competing to make another run this time a year from now. So I think that was the last real big hurdle that Nebraska needed to clear, was to just finally do it. Like, they had all these reasons of why it could work, and now it's working. And I think that's the next step to really be the difference that can get you over the top on some of these, elite level players that can be the difference between being a good team and a great team.
Watch it. Looking ahead to that game, around 6:30 tip down there in Houston. You've done a great job all year long, giving the keys to success for Nebraska basketball. Now, give me a couple outside of those. Again, ball security, physical, being on the boards. Give me something outside of that you'll look at in this matchup, whether it be a player or two, because I'll go back, and I have not said this. I've said this to people, but I don't believe that Barricade Butengel has played a better weekend of his Husker career than he did this past weekend. But give me something out there that you're going to be looking at in this matchup, because they're going to try to take Price out of this game. They're going to do other things. But what are some other keys to this game that it will be plus for Nebraska to win?
Yeah, I mean, it's the obvious. I mean, I have to basically just copy and paste my scouting report from the last two. But it's rebounding. From Iowa, they went board for board with one of the best rebounding teams in the country in Florida. They out-rebounded Clemson by 15. Like, that catches your attention. Like, so Nebraska is going to have to be as good as they've ever been in finishing possessions and not letting Iowa just dominate the offensive glass. So that's an obvious one. Turnovers are going to be an obvious one. Iowa led the Big Ten in 4 steals this year. They're a team that is going to swarm you and make life as difficult as possible with you on the defensive end. So, Nebraska's ability to take care of the ball and, be crisp with their offense is going to be paramount. And, with that, they got to make shots. Like, you look at especially that game in Iowa City, they just missed so many open looks. Like, they got shots that they normally would hit and they missed them. So, like, that's what it comes down to. When you're playing a team as good defensively as Iowa, you have to capitalize when you get your opportunities. And so it's simple, but they got to put the ball in the basket. They can't go for these stretches of missing, 10 other 11 shots or anything like that, which has happened at stretches. But I think as much as anything, next factor that really we don't know is just how the game's going to be officiated. Like, I mean, if I was able to do the things they did in Iowa City, Nebraska's going to have a lot of problems. There's a reason that they only scored 52 points in that game. Was they couldn't operate their offense because of the level of physicality Iowa was allowed to defend them with. And so does that change now in the NCAA tournament when you don't have Big Ten officials? Like, I don't know. We'll see, because I've seen some other conference officials in this tournament allow quite a bit of physicality as well. So I think it just depends on the crew. And, if Nebraska's allowed that freedom of movement, suddenly that offense is able to operate at a significantly higher level. And then on the other end, how the balance between stopping Bennett Sturts, which you go back to the senior day game, he was priority 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they did a good job of keeping him in check. The problem was, Cale Combs and Cooper Koch were able to go off for 18 points each and kind of kept Iowa in that game enough to send it to OT. So, I think the difference between them now and a month and a half ago is that their role players are starting to actually have significant contributions, with Sturts kind of, I don't know if he's like run out of gas or whatever, but he hasn't been playing his best basketball at all over the last few. But Iowa's role guys have kind of stepped up along with that. So, does Nebraska still do all they can to take away Sturts and hope that other guys can't beat him, or do they play more of a traditional style of defense that takes into account for everybody? Just that balance of prioritizing Sturts versus everyone else, I think will be, go back to that coaching chess match. That part of it's going to be right up there for me.
I've seen one of the keys to this game being speeding up Iowa. Is it possible to speed that Iowa team up, or should Husker fans just expect this game to be a somewhat low scoring affair?
Ben McCollum will never let the game get sped up. If you notice, like, even when Iowa scores a transition basket and then they start getting it, he'll call timeout. Just because he wants this game to be the most plodding, boring, chew up clock type of game possible, because that's how they win. That's why they're here, is because of his management of the game. And so, that's again where efficiency becomes so important, because you're just not going to get a lot of chances against Iowa. They won't allow it. They're going to control the clock. even if, like, again, they're starting to get some things going in transition, like, that's not the game Ben McCollum wants to play, and he will pick his spots with timeouts to slow the pace down and operate in the half court offensively. And so that's where, Nebraska's got to be on point. And when you get those transition opportunities, you better capitalize, and you better be able to, do the majority of your work in the half court, because that's the game Iowa's going to have to force you to play.
Well, Wash, before I get you out of here, I have to ask. I know what's the family bank like right now, because it have both kids try to jump in your suitcase being big Husker fans right now.
Yeah, they do. It's tough. It's a lot of travel, it's a lot of time away. But good news is they're all big Husker fans now. And if I was like doing some like work conference or something where I'm just sitting in a meeting room, it'd be a little less enjoyable. Yeah. But they get to kind of follow along with me, vicariously, and they're all in. So it's been good. They understand, and I'm fortunate to have a very understanding family for this crazy run.
Well, at least they know your bedtime routine as well, being tucked in and getting stories read.
Exactly.
Well, can I ask you here, for the Husker fans that are traveling down, have you created your list of things outside of basketball that you want to check out down in Houston?
Not really. I'm there to just hang out. Like, I don't want to go sightseeing or anything like that. I know there's a Papados that we're going to go check out. That's the famous Houston seafood, or I guess southern seafood chain down there. So if you want a good like seafood, like Creole type Cajun thing, Papados is the way to go. Other than that, I don't know. Haven't even put that much thought into it, just because it's been such a quick turnaround. Kind of be one of those things. We're staying kind of about a half mile from the arena. Probably just walk around and check it out as we go. But I don't have much of an itinerary at this point.
Well, I'll tell you, I got the entire fam down, and I'm being a little baseball guy. There's the Astros are in
opening
day, and they play Friday night at 7:10.
There you go.
So it'll be a lot of fun. So, well, Rob,
that might be on the docket.
There you go. Well, brother, appreciate your time as always, man. Travel safe today as well, and take care of yourself. We'll talk to you and see you real soon.
Sounds good, man.
Robin Wash at HuskerOnline.com. Great stuff from him. Let's come back. Let's keep the Husker theme rolling. Talk a little baseball when we return. Talk a little baseball.
See, today is officially the last day of spring training, I think.
I think you're
right.
And
most teams get that off day Wednesday, because the opening day rosters have been set.
We should talk down here about what that slate looks like. Talking baseball. That'll be tomorrow. We'll have to pick our division winners and all that.
Yeah. I doubt we'll have much time to talk baseball Thursday morning.
No. And speaking of that, I need to take a peek at this. Okay. I was just thinking about the show tomorrow. That's why I said that. And it made me think about Husker legend Henry T. Buchanan tomorrow.
Is he going to Houston or no? Yeah.
He's traveling tomorrow, so I got to figure out what that looks like. We might have T on Thursday, depending on his travel. That's the wrong date. I want to go right here. That's where I want to be. We ball. Todd said they'll be in his garage with a 55 minutes, even all the neighbors.
That's not bad.
I love little neighborhood parties, like driveway stuff.
Maybe I can get my my TV out in my driveway.
Yeah, at least you can storm off from there.
TV in the driveway is not a bad idea.
No.
Some lawn chairs out there. It's going to be a beautiful day. That's the thing. Is it feels like a great day to watch outside. It's supposed to be like, what, in the 70s that evening?
Just going to start looking. 72. A little windy. 72.
Oh, we're coming back here.
Back in the morning, Hookup special thanks to Robin Ross. Boy, baseball, speaking of Huskers, they're just rolling. The Husker programs out there are having phenomenal success in the early and the middle part of March right now. Nebraska baseball tonight. 6 o'clock, another midweek affair down in Manhattan, Kansas. Bryce Bender back to the bump after a really quality start, much needed quality start by him down at Wichita State. They will be there at 6 o'clock tonight. I don't know if there's any TV going on for this guy. I know they're going to be on the Huskers Network coming up as Nebraska continues, as they try to continue to keep this streak rolling and the undefeated part of midweek games. Stay right. It's just a stay right game, right?
I mean, you've been playing good ball. I really, ever since you left that series against Auburn, I think that one stung them. You've been playing good baseball since then. You're into the top 25. Keep it rolling. I mean, you have a guy in Cooper Katsky that seemingly really embraced the role. If he comes in and pitches an inning and change on the weekend, but then locks down the midweek for you, just feels like another. What's the best way to put this? It's so easy to say another opportunity. It feels less than that. It feels like another just great opportunity to go and stack a win. Just keep the bats hot, keep the arms rolling. This team, I mean, so much more than a month ago, feels like the guys on the team have confidence in what their roles are.
Yep.
You have guys that are stepping into roles out of the bullpen. I think your starting arms have kind of all embraced what they need to go out there and do, which is they got to get you 6. Mm-hmm. Those guys have been pretty good at that for the most part, getting you to 6, turn it over to the bullpen. The guys in the bullpen, I think you kind of pared it down just a little bit, and you have more consistency with what guys are doing out of the bullpen.
They've really stepped up as of late.
Yeah, and the bats just kind of Friday night, I know it wasn't the best offensive game. Mm-hmm. Michigan pitched their ace, and you had some struggles against him. But other than that, it's been over the course of the last 3 weeks just consistency from the lineup.
Yep. I think these are games like this as well. And a guy like Evan talked about, Max Butenbach, can he continue? It looks like he broke out a little bit. Can he continue? I'll also be interested to see how they use Katsky with the way the schedule sets up, right? Because if he is the midweek guy, or what his role is going to be going forward, because let's just say he sticks to midweek, he would not throw again until the 31st. I expect to see him maybe today as they keep the arm fresh, or maybe there's spot duty over the weekend as they'll be home against Indiana.
Kirk, was it Saturday or Sunday he came in and pitched an inning? One of the two. I know he got an inning of work in either Saturday or Sunday.
I'm looking. Saturday was the 10-0 game. Maybe it was Sunday. Let's look.
Because he gave up a run. It would have been Sunday then.
I think you're right. I think it was
Sunday. Pitched 1 inning, 2 days of rest. I mean, you should.
It's just one of those things with him and a guy like that. And again, pitchers in general is the game plan of how to keep the arms fresh.
Well, and
not to let them sit too long.
Yeah, well, that's as a part of the recovery. I mean, you probably know as a pitcher better than I.
Got to throw a bullpen, man.
It's not a case of starting pitchers in baseball don't go pitch 7 innings on a Saturday and then don't pick a ball up and throw it again until next Saturday. They're putting in work throughout the week, kind of getting their arm back and ready to go for the following weekend. And to be able to use your midweek guy kind of essentially to go throw a weekend game for an inning as a bullpen session. I'm sure very super pitch limited. Kind of a unique thing that not only does it help the team, it also keeps the guy rolling. I mean, to be able to use an in-game opportunity as a recovery opportunity, slightly risky, but if the guy can go out there and do it for you, it really helps you on the weekend. The fact that you can kind of do double dip with that, like, hey, go get in there for an inning. We're going to treat it as your Sunday bullpen session. Yep,
absolutely. Just to keep him fresh and keep him rolling. So it'll be a fun night. It'll be a fun night as they again continue. Were they 11 straight now? 11 straight.
They lost on.
Oh, they lost Mitch Curry. I forgot, but it's a lot out of a lot.
But they're stacking. Now. I mean, that's what the Big Ten has to be. You can drop a game on the weekend. The series that you drop have to be few and far between.
Look, you got to win series. That's it. Stack those series.
If you want to be a team that remains in the top 25 and is in consideration to host a regional, I mean, you can afford to drop one weekend series, maybe two in the Big Ten.
Yep.
If you want to be that team that is in consideration to host.
Yep. Also, update as well, because we haven't had it in a while, because we know basketball has taken the lion's share of what we're doing right now. 24-5 Nebraska softball. As you and I, and I think more you predicted, they were going to rattle off a bunch of wins in a row with this schedule. They've ran off 13 straight now.
Yeah, it's gonna continue.
It's gonna continue. They're just beating people up right now. This week again, boy, what a great weekend to be around. I know we got basketball Thursday and hopefully potentially Saturday, but if you get out and about Friday, you got Husker baseball going at it Friday, Saturday, Sunday down there. Husker softball also in town. They'll play a late game on Friday, 8 o'clock. They'll go 8 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. UCLA is in town for Nebraska.
UCLA softball is good.
Yes.
They still aren't talent-wise what Nebraska is.
No.
Not even close. UCLA, I mean, they only fell by one against Oklahoma State. They lost to Florida State by a few runs, lost to Tennessee by a lot. Like they among the teams you've played recently, they've played a more difficult schedule, at least across one weekend. They've had their struggles with it. Are they good enough to go beat you for a game? Maybe. Probably. Are they good enough to beat you on a weekend series? I'd be surprised. And this Husker softball team just seems to be rolling.
And if you want to catch the ladies out there, they are on they go FS1, Big Ten Plus, Nebraska Public. So you got a chance to watch if you can't get out there. So, wow, that flew by. When we come back, we are going to talk a little opening day. We're not going to predict our things yet, but look at the schedule. What excites you? Brian Munson, probably some more Husker. And it's a big golf story. A lot looming out there after announcement last night. So sit back, relax. Elijah and I will be right back.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
I wanted a new color printer to add pizzazz to my prints.
Pizzazz can be pricey.
Well, now at Staples, you get up to 30% off select HP printers.
30% off an HP?
Yeah, I saved $120 on an HP Smart Tank 6001 with up to 3 years of ink included.
Why, that could be the last printer you'll ever need.
Could be.
Shop your local Staples today for big savings on HP.
That was easy.
Available in-store, online, or on the app. Store for exclusions apply.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
It may not require a textbook, but it's filled with valuable lessons. It may not take place in a classroom, but it's an ideal environment for learning. It may not involve a diploma, but it can help prepare Nebraska's young people for life. It's high school sports. High school sports can play a critical role in a student's overall education. In fact, studies show that students that participate in high school sports are more likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in their academic lives. If you think high school sports are only about competition, think again. Better yet, think about attending a high school sporting event in your community. You'll be amazed by what you see. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Nebraska School Activities Association and the Nebraska State Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. Beware of telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you. Callers threatening you with arrest or other legal action and demanding money are not from us. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Do not provide them with any form of payment or information. Report the call at oig.ssa.gov.
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. With the pressure increasing to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, there continue to be conflicting messages about whether the U.S. and Iran are engaged in talks to end the war. President Trump insists they are happening. Iran says they are not. Here's ABC's Rachel Scott.
Iran insists that no talks with the U.S. have taken place, saying anything otherwise is an attempt to influence the stock market and the price of oil. President Trump now giving the country until Friday to make a deal to end the war, backing off his threat to hit and obliterate key Iranian electrical plants if the country did not reopen the Strait of Hormuz by last night.
Pakistan has offered to host diplomatic talks, but Iran remains defiant. ABC's Tom Sufi Burridge is in Tel Aviv.
A barrage of missiles intercepted in the skies over Israel. Many of those Iranian missiles are packed full of indiscriminate cluster-type bombs. Only 10 people injured in Israel in last night's attacks. This morning, Israel's defense minister saying the IDF will continue to strike Iran with all its might.
The average price for a gallon of gas nationwide, $3.98. With a partial government shutdown stretching on for nearly 40 days now, there are new signs of movement, at least among the GOP.
The conversation now taking place among Republicans has them talking about funding every component of DHS except for ICE. After that, the GOP-led Congress could move to a reconciliation package, which Democrats in the Senate couldn't block by themselves, that would fund ICE and possibly add in the voter ID and citizenship requirements that President Trump has insisted on. Just days ago, the president rejected this idea, but after a White House huddle last night, Republicans came out of it hopeful that they'd be able to move forward with the plan.
That's ABC national correspondent Stephen Portnoy. The Taliban government in Afghanistan says it has released an American citizen who had been held for over a year. Dennis Coyle is an academic who'd been studying languages. He was accused of violating Afghan law, but the Taliban never has specified which law he abused. This is ABC News.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/groundadvantage to learn more.
My doctor told me my cholesterol is borderline, so I took control with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula. Garlic helps maintain healthy cholesterol safely and naturally. It's odor and taste-free, and Garlic is a world leader in garlic potency. I'm taking charge of my cholesterol with Garlic Healthy Cholesterol Formula, cholesterol's natural enemy.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
Help to be provided to wildfire victims. Good afternoon. I'm Jeff Moser at 43 degrees at KFOR. Following an aerial tour Monday of one of the two major wildfires in western Nebraska, USDA Secretary Brooke Rollins said that cattle producers affected by the wildfires will have immediate access to emergency programs. Rollins says this would enable producers to cover and recoup immediately.
We want to preserve this part of Nebraska with everything we can with the generational ranches and cattlemen and women that are on it.
The largest of the wildfires, one in Morrill County, has burned nearly 650,000 acres of land and is 98% contained. While the Nebraska legislature has been preoccupied with fixing the state budget and a shortfall, lawmakers today are expected to start debate on LB 1165, which would strengthen Nebraska's economic development toolkit. It's a bill highly supported by the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Chamber President Jason Ball told Lincoln's Morning News on KFOR today the push for this bill started when Union Pacific bought another Class 1 railroad, and that's when competition began from other states to move UP out of Omaha.
Knowing what these other states were bringing UP as a package for support to say, hey, set up your headquarters in our downtown. Nebraska needed to really up its game, and that's going to take legislation to make sure it happens.
LB 1165 would also give greater use and flexibility for credits for manufacturing projects. Credits for child care as two main components. KFOR News' look at Severe Weather Awareness Week takes us to how the Siren Network is set up in Lincoln and Lancaster County. 5 different zones for siren activation. If any one of those zones is included in a tornado warning, the sirens will sound, according to Emergency Management Director Jim David-Saver.
It's not uncommon with that. I work in one part of the county, but I live in another part of the county. I heard the sirens at work. Family members at home didn't. Well, that's the way the system is designed to work.
David-Saver wants to remind you that the sirens are for outdoor warning use only. Partly cloudy today, a high of 70. I'm Jeff Moats, KFOR News.
Spring's around the corner, and savings are in full bloom at Menards. Get your backyard ready with garden tools to make every job easy. Define your landscape with durable edger blocks. Then top it off with colorful mulch that keeps weeds down and supports healthy plant growth. You'll also find a huge selection of grass seed and fertilizer to make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Gear up, green up, and save big at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Hi, David Brooks here, president and founder of Retire Smart, inviting you to join me and Chip Maxwell every Saturday morning at 7 or Sunday mornings at 6 for the Retire Smart radio show. We'll provide you answers to your most pressing retirement questions and help you navigate ever uncertain financial times. Don't just retire, retire smart.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back in the Morning Hookup, hour number 2. Here's up. Everybody's have a great Tuesday. I was sitting here thinking, scrolling through stuff. And you know how you're like, your kids kind of get in trouble or used to get in trouble. It's like lessons learned. You learn your lesson, because I always tell my kids, when you say you're sorry, that means you won't do it again. When they're in Houston, took notes from OKC. We're not going to let that happen.
Busch Lights, Coors Lights, T-shirts in the venue that were sold out like 5 times. Will they learn their lesson? It's again, what, third largest city in the United States, I believe. All right. I think it is. No. Yeah, I think it's like, go look at it. It's one of the top 5. It's like the third largest city, I believe. I think New York, LA might be bigger. I think Houston's I think it's the third largest city in the United States of America.
That can't be.
Am I close? Where does it rank?
By population?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you? Hey Siri, what is the third largest city in the United States of America?
Looks like it's 5th.
Okay, 5th.
So it goes New York. Oh, it looks like it goes New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, and then Houston.
Okay, top 5.
That is across the entire metro.
Yeah, but that's crazy. You're embarking the 5th largest city in America.
You wouldn't think of Houston being in that list, would you?
Yeah, I've been down there a couple of times for events. I was down there, Final Four with my father-in-law. It's the second one I went to. We just went on a whim back in. He had previous business adventures that we got tickets, and it was UConn. They were at Alliant. Is it still called Alliant where the Texans play?
NRG, I think.
NRG, okay. We were down there. I remember it being Alliant. Actually went twice. One had a really good experience. I had both experiences really good. But we got a chance to go and watch UConn win it. Second time was not as fun. Villanova 2016, I believe. I tried to erase that from my memory.
Yeah.
This weekend, they were like, for some reason, I was at different places throughout the weekend in OKC. And for some reason, they kept wanting to play that game and talk about it with the coaches, like a whole special. At one point, I turned my back. But it was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't even watch that TV. I remember sitting there, jubilant, and then in total disarray.
Jenkins for the championship. Great call. Then.
Yes.
I will say, in terms of all-time moments in March Madness, it's up there.
Now, the reason I bring that up, that is how I would feel walking out of Houston if we lose to Iowa.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to have. I think about feelings. And I think a lot of Husker fans going down will have that moment where it's like, I don't want to feel like that again. For you ones that were in Memorial Stadium when the Yahoo kicked the field goal. Right? You're going to go back to Iowa, Nebraska moments and go, I don't want that feeling ever again.
And there hasn't been a lot of great Nebraska-Iowa moments over the last decade.
We just keep losing.
This could erase a lot of bad feelings if you want to look on the positive side. And this team, from what I saw in senior day, they've embraced how the fan base feels about that basketball team in Iowa City. Simple as that. They're
the villains.
Yes.
They're the bad people.
You know how sometimes, especially in modern sports now, you look at the NFL where like there are just certain rivalries where you can tell it means more to the fans and to the players. The players are out there. Yeah, it's a rivalry game. Fans don't like each other. But as players, with all the movement in the NFL, like sometimes rivalries, and you even see this in college football now too with the transfer portal, rivalries don't mean what they used to mean as much, at least to the players on the field. Like back in the day, used to have guys that spend 5 years in a college program, and every single year for those Husker Husker players out there is about beating Colorado.
Yeah, go to that. That's the feeling I was just going to talk. I want that feeling. I want Alex Henry lining up for a long field goal, and that feeling of it going through the uprights one more time. Yeah, and I want it to be against them.
Instead of 5 years of hatred for some teams, now it's like that 1 year, and you have fans that care a lot because you've been stewing on this hatred for 20 plus years. For this Nebraska Iowa, wherever, it's like about 10 years now.
Yeah.
But for this team to have embraced, and the antics post game in Iowa City really helped that, I think. Listen, that team, they don't need any extra motivation for Thursday.
No. And fans don't engage with those people. They don't know. Education levels don't know. Okay? Don't engage with them. Just go have a good time. Okay? Boy, speaking of a good time, national holiday type stuff. And again, we're going to predict tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow program, no Henry T. Buchanan. We're going to do Thursday. He'll be in the air.
Okay.
Thursday be perfect. He'll be boots on the ground in Houston. Okay. And we'll do our prediction tomorrow on divisions and all that kind of fun stuff. But I love opening day. I do. I love opening day. I think opening day is one, it's a holiday for a lot of people and their teams. Celebrations. But it usually never disappoints because this is the one time until you get made the playoffs that it's one-on-one. It's ace versus ace. Right? You get to see them. And baseball does you a lot of favors by putting division rivals against each other. They open division play out of the gate. There's no interleague stuff. It is division on division, and it's ace on ace.
The one thing that I didn't like that I've now warmed up to is the standalone opening game Wednesday night. Yeah, I've warmed up to it once you see the matchup. It's Max Fried and Logan Webb.
Okay.
For the Yankees and the Giants. I wish all the games were on the same day, but this does make this a little bit more special, and that's going to be a really, really good pitching matchup to go and watch. Yankees, Giants, Wednesday night in San Fran, Max Fried, Logan Webb, streaming on Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, right? But this is one where I look at and I go, you know what? I didn't like it most of the offseason. Now we're to week of. I'll sit down and watch that.
Yeah.
And then opening day, like big opening day, actual opening day. There are some good games sprinkled in there. There's some games I don't care about
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. There's total games that it's like whatever, but there's a lot of divisional type games that'll get started. As you start looking at them going down, I mean, like you're going to get. Let's see here.
The thing, you're not getting every single game, every single team in action on opening day.
No,
it's 22 teams are in action on opening day, plus the 2 teams Wednesday night, which leaves you a few. I know the Rockies don't open up until Friday. I believe, is it the Athletics that don't open until Friday
Rockies
as well?
Could the Rockies be in first place and not play?
Rockies and Marlins open it up on Friday. Athletics and Blue Jays open it up on Friday. And is it Kansas City and Atlanta, the final pair of teams? Yeah, that sounds right. They don't open up until Friday.
Casey at Atlanta. I know it's interesting to look at. Don't need to go through them all, but it's really interesting. You start looking at ones on ones. You get a chance. I mean,
I got
to kick off
games.
Let's do it. I mean, they're going to kick off at 1:15, by the way, on Thursday. NBC, Paul Skeens will go to the bump.
12:15 Central.
12:15 Central. Paul Skeens to the bump.
Paul Skeens against Freddie Peralta.
Yep.
Pittsburgh and New York. The Mets and the Pirates. Whoa, that's a good one. I like that.
I like that. I mean, that's a way to kick it off with the best pitcher in all of baseball going.
I like Detroit and San Diego a little bit later in the afternoon. That's a 3:10 first pitch.
Scooble going against was that Pavetta?
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a good matchup. I really don't mind Texas, Philadelphia.
Okay, because Eovaldi on the bump.
Yep.
The nightcap, which they've put this game on NBC for a reason. I think this is a really good matchup. You got the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers.
Yamamoto to the bump.
7:30 against Zach Gallen.
Woo! There's a lot of good ones. Just to see, I mean, it's again, usually get ones on ones, and you see, yeah. And for baseball fans, I know you know this. You're not learning anything on game one because it's a long stretch.
What makes
It's a
opening
big
day
celebration.
special? And I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. It's the one day in baseball where every single fan still has hope. For a Rockies fan, it's not hope that they'll make the playoffs, but it's hope they'll look better. Hey, maybe Charlie Condon gets called up a little bit later this season because he had a great spring training starting the year at AAA. Maybe you'll see him soon. Like, there's hope for every single baseball team.
Oh yeah. I go back to the
you can't once this weekend rolls around, there might not be hope for every single baseball team out there.
I go back to the openings, pretty close to the opening scene of Major League. Euchre's in the booth. Willie Mays Hayes, scores or gets it first, thrown out at second. You know, a lot of teams like that, but it'll be a lot of fun. And unfortunately for Nebraska fans, it'll be maybe forgotten just a little bit, just because of what else is happening that day. As they'll be probably tuning up, maybe trying to get all of their work done, putting in a little maybe it's time to half day PTO on a Thursday.
Most of my friends that go over to that opening day party go half day
PTO. Written in the logs. Let it happen.
But I can't fully turn my attention to baseball until this Husker basketball run is over, as you said.
Might be a few weeks away.
Cross the fingers.
Might be a few weeks away. Baseball's a long season though, so. But again, tomorrow we'll look at like divisions and maybe some stories that are out there. Spend a lot of time on baseball tomorrow and take a peek at that. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll turn our attentions to football. There is a practice this weekend here in Lincoln, and there's a guy that's still covering that game and covering recruiting. It's Brian Munson with HuskerOnline.com. Yeah, buddy. Do you like the coughs are fewer in between? Talking baseball. Yep, I got that. Let's send this. What? Yep, won't be there for that. Uh-oh.
What now?
I thought you were thinking about a song.
Oh, I got a song. Don't you worry about
that.
that.
Thought. You're like, You know what else it is today? Happy haircut day for me. Let's go. Good morning, Shane.
No, my was I saw Moses Moody's injury last night.
Oh, I saw Luke do it, man. They peaked it, and I had to I tried not to, and it peaked around.
Yeah, that's a disgusting looking injury. I'll get the months online here.
Talk. Welcome back in the morning hookup. Boy, it's that time of the day on a Tuesday. Our guy, Brian Monson, hustleronline.com. B, what's up? Marco? Good morning, Brian Monson. Good morning, B. Hello? No? He's probably talking. It's like, I'm here. I'm here. Oh, we'll call him back. We'll effort Brian Monson back.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's a strange voice. No, I got sent to.
Uh-oh. You may resend. Oh, are you having a Will Wilson moment?
No, it was.
You heard that?
It was like some strange pre-recorded. It sounded like Morgan Freeman.
I'm gonna share his contact as well.
I got the number right. I know that. I might try calling him again. It was very strange. It was like Morgan Freeman.
You stayed with it.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is going on here? It sounded like I was like in a like I got somebody answered the phone in the pocket because it sounded very distant. But I'm like, it very clearly sounds like a Morgan Freeman recorded message here.
Time we were trying to call Robin Washington. Will was back there. We tried multiple times, and the lady finally answered. It was an elderly.
You put her on. I'm gonna try this one more time.
All right. Coming up, Brian Monson, hustleronline.com. We'll talk spring game with recruiting, what the list looks like, maybe impact of the weekend now with Nebraska basketball will be actively playing and a lot of fans not in town, or what that means. Maybe attendance will be up, and what we're looking for in that world as well. We'll also be talking more bracketology and what the Sweet 16 looks like, and a whole lot of you guys, and hopefully maybe we get to talk to Morgan Freeman. No, I hear ringing. That's good. I'll shoot him a text too.
If it comes on.
Oh, we got.
Sometimes it makes me sad though, not being able to take your call.
What?
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged.
What?
Their feathers are just too bright. But for now, wait for the beep. Leave a message.
Yeah, that's Morgan Freeman, right?
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
I'm making sure I'm not going crazy. I had to put that on the air. Right? Is that not the strangest thing to?
That is. I don't know what happened. I'm freaked out now. I feel like I'm staying at the Husker basketball's hotel from last weekend. Did you hear about that?
No.
That apparently, you look it up, apparently the Stivern.
Oh, the ghost. Yeah.
That there was, I'll get it wrong, but there was a reporter or something that stayed on the 10th floor, went to bed, woke up with a scratched cornea. I don't know. Fred talked about it and said maybe the ghost, I think they named it, that should come with us. Like maybe it'll be in the same hotel.
What did Burke say? Like, I don't believe in ghosts, but maybe the ghost is helping us.
That guy's a national treasure.
Burke?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm just thinking, I wanted to confirm, though, that we all thought that voicemail was as weird as I thought.
Was that Morgan Freeman, guys?
It had to have been.
That sounded like Morgan Freeman, like, I don't even know what movie that would be.
Shawshank, right?
Yeah. I was going there.
He's a Shawshank or Batman? Is he in Batman? He's in Batman, right?
Damn it. Yeah.
You know,
I'm kind of spooked out now.
Yeah, we'll have to ask if we get him on here. We'll have to ask him. Hey man, what is that?
Hey man, it got delivered. I don't know. Hope he's doing okay.
Well, we can talk about the spring game here.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's talk spring game real quick. It is. Do we know? Sorry, I haven't even looked at details of it. Man, basketball has just like consumed me. I think it's consumed a lot of people. Give me the deets.
Well, it's Saturday morning. That's the big one. I think a lot of people don't even know that. It's Saturday morning. The question to me is less about, man, watching this. It's not about, how many games is this team going to win? Do they look better than you're more looking at individual players or individual position groups. One of the things I'm going to be watching for, the easy answer I think for a lot of people is I'm going to be watching the defense line. I'm watching the offensive line. We've heard a lot. They're bigger. They're more fluid movers, apparently. Just how in sync as a unit does this offensive line group look? Because you're trying to build in a short time with practice continuity between a group of 5 guys. And on the offensive line, 5 need to play as one. Do you have an offensive line that has 5 playing as one? And what I mean by that, what I'm watching for, do you have double teams that get up to linebacker where you get 5 hats on 5 guys and open up a hole? I'm not sure what their zone schemes will look like, but do you have offensive linemen? They're all taking that first step. They should be look like they're in sync.
Yep.
Those steps are coming off the same time. They're getting movement off the ball of about the same depth. They're getting up to that second level. Just do you have 5 playing as one? That's one thing we're watching for this offense line. And then obviously the most important thing with offense, are they getting movement? But
yeah,
I think if you have a group of 5 playing as one, the movement comes along with that.
I think it's a great point, Elijah, about the way to watch this game.
Yes.
Versus, I know a lot of people, I think this is a great opportunity. I've always thought the spring game was a great opportunity for families to go. Get a chance to get down there where tickets aren't so crazy expensive to go to a football game. You can come in, bring your family of 5. You can go hang out with down the local establishments and really look at that. But I think this is a year to watch technique, watch it from a different level as you're watching this game. I think we have Brian Munson. We had to ask, no? What is going on? Now we are, there is something going on. We're going to have to ask Brian, but again, spring game coming up. Do we have them? What? This is as haunted as the Husker Basketball Hotel right now. Brian Munson, HuskerLine.com. What's up, B?
Hey, guys. What's going on?
I don't know. Elijah has a question.
Yeah, your voicemail. Is that Morgan Freeman?
Is that Frank Caliendo?
It is. Oh, my gosh. Isn't that the greatest thing ever?
Yeah, we just played it on air because we're like, this is not what we're getting to. And somebody said, sounds like Frank Caliendo doing Morgan Freeman impression.
It totally is. So it's, first of all, it's one of those rare 3:00 in the morning Instagram finds, when you can't sleep at all. That video came up with, I think he was doing requests for $5, whatever. Hey, somebody give me Morgan Freeman answering my phone, but a voicemail message. And you could save the video. But then it's a real trick on iPhone because you have to record your voice into your voice message, right? Okay. So you can't play it from the same phone that you recorded it from. So I had to transfer that file over to another phone, and all the quality that just got lost between the two. There's got to be a Chat GPT trick to it. to where I could like upload the audio file directly from like the wave or like the MP3, or not the MP3, but it's more of a video file that comes off of the Instagram. So, dude, I heard that. I was like, that is so great. And just the way he kind of wraps it up at the end, like, it is just fantastic. And I don't want like people like just calling my number randomly, but if they want the video, I guess they hit me up on Twitter. I'll send it to you.
Well, Elijah's researching right now how to get this done on his phone.
I am.
He's on it right now.
I'd love to know, because the audio quality, if it was just as good as what's in the video currently, and I didn't lose it in the transfer of like playing through the speakerphone on one phone to another phone, like through the microphone, it would be so much better. Like you kind of have to listen. It's like coming through like on one of those old like bullhorn phonographs, right? Like it's just not, it's not crisp. It's not like digital. It's very analog.
Well, it gives you the feel of, I was wondering if somebody had stolen your phone briefly. And I'm like, wait, that's Morgan Freeman. What's going on? I'm trying to listen in. It has a nice effect, actually. It confused me greatly, don't get me wrong, but it had a great effect, because once I realized what it was, it gave me a good chuckle, a good laugh with just a slight bit of confusion.
Sean Callahan, it's funny too, because Sean will call me and he'll get that message and he'll go, "Hey man, you got like some weird voice on your answering machine. Like you need to get that fixed or whatever." I'm like, "No, dude, it's perfect."
Come on, Sean, you don't get it.
I'm so happy you guys played it out over the air and that people got a chance to hear it. It's probably not as appreciated as much as I appreciate it, but like in that context, of Shawshank and Morgan Freeman, it is just fantastic.
Speaking of things that are much appreciated right now, that's Husker basketball, Mr. Munson, and what we're watching history. Give me thoughts as you're watching that in OKC and what OKC looked like, the fan base, and also tell me that you found someone to hug, because I was there and I hugged my buddy, that random guys. It brought people to their knees, and it brought tears in a lot of people's eyes.
No, I agree with you. And I keep catching more and more 3:00 in the morning Instagram videos. Like last night, I caught Andy Katz, describing the environment in Oklahoma City, like how he's never seen that in how many ever years, so, that he's covered it. And Chris Webber had said some things similarly, even though I wasn't a very big fan of his analysis in the second game. I thought he was, I don't know. There was something about it. It just didn't seem to sit real well with me during the game anyway. But I'm at a loss for words. I really am, because I'm going to have a thing in 3 and Out about this. And the thing in 3 and Out I'm going to do is it's going to be kind of 2 prongs. The first one is that Nebraska football needs to leverage everything that basically happened in Oklahoma City with Nebraska fans in general, and the type of support that you will get when great things are happening, right? That's the number one thing. But the number 2 thing is that Nebraska football, we need some great things to happen. You're in a pretty remarkable spot right now with Nebraska athletics in general. Think about where you're at with baseball, softball. Think about where you're at now with basketball, even women's basketball, doing the play-in and winning that. I think that, and there's obviously this probably not a very well thought out plan to do as early of a spring for football as what we've ever seen before or what anybody else is doing nationally, because now it's almost like spring football. Who cares? Like it used to be an event. It used to be the things that, everybody would tune in for to read what Robin and Sean and Sip and Abby and others had to say about practices and what the coaches were thinking and saying, and who the recruits were that were coming in for this Huddle Futures Forum, and and who will be there for spring game weekend. Kind of an afterthought. It's kind of an afterthought, and it should be. I mean, you've got something that is it's unheard of. It's nothing that's ever happened in my 51 years. It's thinking about what Pavelka said about it, and now all of a sudden you have to get back to being practical about what's going on with Nebraska athletics in general. And the practicality is that Nebraska needs to leverage all the great things that have happened within college basketball recently with Nebraska in Oklahoma City and say that this happens across all athletics. And then also you need to tell football, step it up. Step it up. These are the great things that we're missing out on right now. You've got a fan base that is literally got all the kinetic energy behind it, like a water behind a dam. And it just wants to come blowing through it, like right now. You need to get there quickly. And Hoiberg and others are showing what the possibilities are.
Could it be intentional, Brian, that Nebraska is trying to get buzz away from this spring? Like, whenever he announced the spring schedule, it was well known that the basketball team was rolling. When he announced the spring game date, it was well known that's a possible Elite Eight day. I can only think, is it intentional to try to take some of the pressure off, take some of the spotlight off here this spring?
No, I mean, I could definitely understand, like, for anybody that would want to think that way. I think that there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to this football team. I think the quarterback change with Colandrea, I think the offensive line transfer portal guys are going to be top notch. I mean, I got a great readout coming for Tunnel Talk on Friday about a person that's seen and gets stuff, firsthand, basically from practices, and they are just they're very, very optimistic about this group that they have now, along the offensive line, and I think that there's a lot of positives here. I think that Matt Rule has had to learn the way the game was is not the way that the game is when he came back to college football, and it's changed very quickly since he even got back. So everybody's trying to figure out how to kind of navigate their way forward, and it's kind of year two, I would say, kind of in that regard when it comes to like the portal being what the portal is. And now you're getting, kind of into more the shared rev, how you're going to kind of manage your roster out to 105, how you're going to pay out, your players, is it more like a 53-man roster with the NFL? So I think that there's, with the hire of the general manager, and that kind of even indicated a little bit more to me, like last January, that's kind of the model that was moving to. So I think that's kind of where things are, and I think people should be excited about what they've brought in, particularly on the offensive side of the football, on the offensive line and the wide receiver. I've heard obviously great things from him too, but I think football could have been had a lot more headlines kind of going into it this week for the last week of spring practices. You're completely overshadowed because of a Sweet 16 basketball team right now that's going down to play Iowa and Houston, which is still not a complete total stretch for Nebraska to go down there and just kind of dominate, the attendance. That's not a stretch at all by any means that Nebraska fans, won't probably show up the same way they did in Oklahoma City, but it may not be that far off either.
Speaking of something that Nebraska has dominated, that's been the spring game over the years, and it makes its return this year after a little quick hiatus, and it's back. Talk about spring game recruiting impact and what it might feel like, because I don't know, I've not heard attendance or ticket sales quite yet, but I assume they'll be slightly down with something possibly happening on a Saturday, or fans that are being Houston, a big chunk of them. But talk about the impact of the spring game returning and what in the sights and sounds of what's going on down there.
Yeah. So I've been trying to document things more and more as to like the whole that not having a spring game not having that spring game last year kind of, presented to basically the 2026 class. You had a massive lull essentially from like your last junior day all the way to like your beginning of your official visit dates. And you saw a lot of players come off the board. A lot of recruits came off the board during that time frame. And I felt like it was just not having a spring game, a traditional spring game wasn't entirely, to basically blame, but it was absolutely to be blamed somewhat. So I really think Nebraska bringing it back this year is huge. It's a massive recruiting tool. You can put players in the stands that, would never have considered coming to Nebraska in the fall before. And now all of a sudden you're going to tell them it's a glorified scrimmage and you're going to have, 40 or 50,000 fans potentially in the stands. It's kind of unheard of. And obviously the attendance there, people would tell you, well, we're disappointed, because it should have been 60, it should have been 70, it should have been sold out. And even to kind of, steal that kind of comparison, the joy of the comparison of like having that, this very well attended, glorified scrimmage versus like a Nebraska fan that knows they've sold those out before, and kind of stealing away that joy of the comparison. I think it still just kind of resonates very, much differently with a recruit. So, kind of getting back to what's going to be happening this weekend, there's a lot going on. You not only have the spring game happening in Lincoln this weekend, but you also have Huddle's event, which, we talked about last year. And there are several names that, were part of that group that came in last year that Nebraska fans, should know that, like, you're gonna see some names coming out of this group this weekend that absolutely are going to be part of like the top names that Nebraska's going to be recruiting kind of moving forward for the next year. So you've got a real heavy group of 2027s coming in. We're still kind of hearing that the number one offensive tackle in the nation, Mark Matthews, should be there. So far, I have not been able to kind of get a total, verification on that one. But there's some other guys that are going to be there that people need to kind of, take some note of. Like Barrett Cottrell getting back into town is big. That could be the kind of weekend that gets him to kind of commit, because he should be there on Thursday, and I think he's coming back on Saturday for the game. So that should be a really good sign. You're also bringing back Amir Brown. The last news we kind of had about Amir Brown was that following the Alabama offer, he was very intrigued, about possibly going and playing for the Tide. Getting him back to Lincoln right now is very critical, because you're going to have Trey, you're going to have the other 2027 guys there in the stands kind of trying to keep him in the boat. But I think that, rather than kind of inundate all your listeners with names and just keep spitting them out, there's about a dozen 2027 guys I know of coming in this weekend, either between Huddle and the spring game. The majority of the visitors, and this is the part I wanted to kind of hit on, are really 2028s. The 2028 class, there's about 30 of them that I know of that'll be there between Friday to Sunday. And this is the part of the class, or part of like the recruiting for Nebraska, that's really been lacking all spring. There's only been a handful of 2028 guys who have been there in March. Just a handful. So when you read all the other analysis from like the Rival Camp series and all the national guys that are out there writing about the 4 stars doing this and who they're kind of talking about with recruiting, you're not hearing Nebraska being said too much. Nebraska has some catching up to do in that space with the 2028 class already. So things keep moving further and further left is what I'm kind of coming back to. But it's going to have, 40, 50 players, really high-rated guys that were out at this event last year. Albert Simeon, Ahmad Hudson. I mean, these are top guys for Nebraska this year. So you're going to hear some names like that, and guys that'll be part of what we're going to be talking about over the next year or so. To this point next year, will be part of this group that's going to be there this weekend.
But to kind of summarize your point there, it's fair to say this weekend's not about closing. This week's about, use a fishing analogy, you're getting hooks in the water and hoping it leads to a bite somewhere down the road.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be the potential there for a commit or two. Probably something that would announce, maybe not necessarily this weekend, but maybe early next week. You could probably imagine some of those things kind of happening. But I think absolutely you've got so many guys in my report last night about the Huddle names, the list of the guys that are coming in for the Huddle function this weekend. It was overwhelmingly filled with recruits who have never been to Nebraska before. So you're really breaking the ice there. You're really establishing relationships. You're really breaking down stereotypes of like, Hooks, he's not driving around in his covered wagon on O Street right now.
No, yeah.
Those types of stereotypes, which are still alive and well. So, it's that kind of a weekend to kind of get the relationships established.
Awesome. Well, we got Brian Monson, HustlerLine.com. Elijah brought up a really good point about the spring game and get your thoughts on it. Not to take your thunder away from you, but how will you encourage fans to watch this game? Elijah brought up the fact that the new revamped O-line, maybe watch it differently this week because that O-line will be really looked at. The defensive line will be really looked at. Talk about how you'll be watching it with that new revamped side of the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see where things are at chemistry wise. That's always the risk that you kind of run is when you put a person next to you that you don't have like that established gel chemistry, and you have to do it in a very short manner, and you have to do it almost like with this level of professionalism that kind of overshadows the fact that you're talking about 20, 21-year-old, adults that are out there playing the game. It's, you're swapping out puzzle pieces, and then you're kind of, the carrot now is being held out there by a different person than held the carrot before. So now you're also trying to figure out from like a technique perspective when you're watching and how guys are stepping, how they're placing their hands, how they're potentially, combo blocking, slipping to the next level. How all those things are going to be things I'll be kind of watching on. And I think the chemistry piece though is the number one thing. I want to see those guys work well next to one another, even though they've only known each other for about 3 months. And that part, I think it's something that had to be expedited this spring. It's something that's still in a developmental space and a timeline. It will continue to be like that all the way through summer until into fall camp. But I think that you really want to kind of get a sense for how well those guys are working with one another as a group, particularly on the offensive line. And then I think after that, you want to kind of feel how well Colandrea is, fitting in with Holgorsen. You want to think that maybe they're potentially a little bit more, and I don't know how much you're really going to go down this path there, but I mean, if I was watching, a no holds barred thing and public eyes were not there, and it was just, we're going to run what we're going to run, the first Saturday in September, I would want to see how much, I felt like Colandrea and Holgorsen were like on the same sheet of music when it came to the play call, when it came to the execution, when it came to, making the adjustments, obviously, in the pre-snap. I want to see kind of that stuff. So, but I think that with the limitations that Saturday is going to have, looking for chemistry, looking for the portal guys on the defensive line to step up, looking for the guys that were brought in to basically be captains and leaders on the defense to really take on that role and put guys in the right place and go out there and make plays. So those are the things I'm be looking for.
It's Brian Munson with us here. And Brian, on the defensive side of the ball, I'm also a little curious about the secondary. Got a lot of talent back there, how those spots shake out. How do you think it is the way to go about evaluating secondary play in this spring game where defenses are usually pretty vanilla, offenses aren't going to show a whole bunch from the fall? I guess, is there much you can take away from what you see from the secondary?
Not a lot, but I mean, I think the first thing always is going to be consistency. You just don't want you can't afford the plays off. You can't afford, you're also looking for, this may be the part that you can go take a look at. And this probably weighs back into the consistency comment that I just gave. The one part of the secondary play last year that I was not impressed with was their tackling ability. Not at all. Just felt like it was not there. So I think the one thing that I think you can always judge is going to be your one-on-one tackling. And I want to see an improvement from last year to basically this spring with how those guys are tackling, particularly in the back end. So that would be one thing I think I would be looking for in the defensive backs. And then like the consistency comment, just making sure that they're handling their assignments. There's nothing blown, like it's obviously still going to be like a growing time through the spring game, but you're hoping that they're far enough along to where you don't have those obvious breakdowns. And then you obviously then can go out and execute and tackle in space.
Well, B, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for hanging out with us with all the great insights. We appreciate you. Take care.
Are you headed to Houston?
1:30 departure tomorrow. I will be in the air at 1:30. Yes.
I was just going to offer up, man, that Dallas is a nice little place to kind of pull off on the road. So if you were driving on down, man, I was going to offer up a spot.
That would have been awesome. I'm bringing the whole fam. We decided, like, let's just go do it. I was on the journey last week with a bunch of friends of mine, and I'm like, man, I want to continue the journey, number one, but man, I got to bring my boys down and the wife and everything, just and enjoy this journey.
I think the ultimate question is, how many weeks does it take for Hooks to get his voice back? Because I was thinking maybe be back today. It's still sounding a little gravelly.
Yeah, it's better today. It's like this is like I'd call it 60%.
I think you're well on your way to recovery, being 100% before Thursday night, and then I expect you to
go right back on the injured reserve list
against Iowa.
Yes. Well,
but you better spit them all out right there. Right? I'm looking forward to it. We'll see you on TV, bud.
Thanks, B. Appreciate it, man. Take care of yourself.
See ya.
Brian Monson, HuskerOnline.com. Great stuff for him. Let's come back and do a couple stories that we missed. That was good. I do feel like it's better, but when I go like to a different level, it doesn't let me go.
Yeah.
But I do feel like all the junk. It doesn't hurt.
Does it hurt?
Well, no, like I was coughing last night and it's like you could just feel it. This like the I'm gonna call it like the I don't know, scraping of the whatever, all the stuff's coming out. Oh. I still think the best part of that was the opening part of describing the voicemail.
Yeah, what? That's still
what we've learned. That right there is the story of what we missed right there. Boom. No, that's crazy. She go. Jeffs, I have hugged multiple strangers on the concourse and out in front of the arena. Amazing atmosphere, total pandemonium. Yeah, you were just like doing random stuff. Kaboom. I'm not even mad that I heard it. That right there makes me feel like it's a little bit allergies running.
I've just been preemptively taking an allergy pill every morning.
I didn't. I jumped on. What did Munson say? Oh, he's fine. He's such a good dude. Said he was on it. No, he's good. He apologized for being a little tardy to the show. And he said, but glad you got to hear Morgan Freeman.
That was great. We are coming back here. We have 3 minutes exactly on the clock.
Oh, look at us. Welcome back to the morning hookup. Special thanks to Brian Muff at HustlerOnline.com. We're going to jump right into stories that we missed.
The stories we missed. The morning hookup.
Fans, golf fans around the world are shuffling around this morning because he has announced, is he back? He is back. He will play tonight in the TGL final. Tiger back, which now is speculating all the rumors is the 2026 Masters in play. I'm fired up. I'm going to get home from baseball practice, and I'm watching it right away.
He's going to do it, isn't he?
In the same light, by the way, in the golf story, Scotty Scheffler withdrew this weekend. You're like, oh, my God, he must be hurt. Guess what's happening? They're welcoming their second kid. Child. Congratulations.
Good for him. But that would be Tiger plays in the Masters, and it does feel like he's gearing up for that.
Yep.
Boy.
Yep.
I'd make the Masters this year better. Speaking of the Masters, did you see the new commercial that they have dropped this year featuring Georgia on My Mind by Thomas Rhett?
Yes.
Wasn't my favorite rendition of Georgia on My Mind. That being said, every time that commercial comes around, it does still give me the warm, fuzzy feelings.
I just hear that whatever the opening is, just the little keys they play, and I'm like fired up.
Yeah.
Here's one that people aren't going to notice that is missed, and it's a local story, by the way. And it's not a former Husker, but a kid from Lincoln that did not play here, but played in the NFL at Pius. The new special teams coordinator announced, Greg Zerline.
Really?
How cool is that?
That is super cool.
Greg Zerline will be teaching special teams at Pius. Welcome home.
You know,
that's a really cool story. Like it's going to be nothing. It's not going to make any story out there, but the fact that you have an NFL kicker back at his alma mater teaching kicking.
I was wondering, we were talking baseball.
Mm-hmm.
How many how many former Nebraskans made an opening day roster?
You don't know. Great question.
That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
That's I do not know.
Well, maybe that could be our a little research from you for tomorrow.
Yeah. Really cool stuff. Tomorrow we'll continue Sweet 16 talk, Nebraska, Iowa.
Did Matt Waldron? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. That's part of our deal tomorrow. We're going to give our Major League Baseball predictions tomorrow, too. It'll be perfect because YZ will be back. We'll talk junk about the Red Sox and how good the Yankees are. And a whole lot of you guys. No Henry T tomorrow. He'll be back with us Thursday. And maybe the voice will be about 80%. You guys have a great Tuesday. We'll catch you on a hump day.